I'm Eddie. My pronouns are he, him. I met Allegra at Rest Garden. I started off as a carer there, and then after Amanda left, I took over as entertainment coordinator. Yeah, I was stoked, and so were the residents. They were pretty sick of bingo, and I had all these plans. I've got a mate at uni with access to all this stuff, so I'm thinking, we get in PlayStations, laser tag. I thought they're not dead yet. Let's kick it up a notch. Then they showed me the budget. So yeah, it was mostly trips to Westfield and bingo. Oh, plus aquasize. We take a bus down to the pool where I work as a lifeguard at Saturdays, and we get them in the water. Nothing major, mostly stretches, chuck a ball around. That's how I got to know Allegra. She never got in. She just came to watch. Then one week, she stopped coming. And I went to see her to ask why. And she said she was dying. Hard to know what to say to that. You know, it's weird. My sister's having a baby and she won't shut up about it. You'd think she'd invented birth. But when someone's dying, we all lose our tongues. Go, she says, back to your pool and count yourself lucky to be so handsome and dumb. Which I don't think you can say that. Eduardo, you're still young, she says. That's what she called me. You haven't been touched by death. Not really. And I tell her about Mum. We were in the garden when Mum told me this was one of her good days. I was helping her rake up leaves when she told me to stop. She got a call from the doctors and they had the results. ALS. They used to call it Lou Gehrig's disease. She said, we all have to be brave now, all of us, that we all knew this day might come. And I remember she picked up this leaf and she said how beautiful it was. How in summer, when the days are long, every leaf is the same, but it's only in autumn when all the chlorophyll begins to break down that all the other colours, the yellows, the oranges, the reds, get a chance to shine. She said that's what the leaf always looked like, but you just couldn't see it. And I reckon if things had have stopped right there in the garden, I could almost see what she was getting at. But they didn't. And instead, this thing destroyed her. It took her freedom, her dignity, until all she had left was a view of the garden. And then it took that too. They reckon when we're born that we all come into this world alone. But that's not true, is it? Because your mum is there too. She held on till next autumn, and I knew all she wanted was to be out in the garden, but by then... Sorry. One night, after she'd gone to sleep, I filled her whole room with leaves. If she couldn't be out in the garden, then I'd bring the garden to her. Came back in the morning to see the look on her face. And the room was empty. Can't do anything right. When I told Allegra about Mum, she pats my hand. Good boy, she says. Now we can be friends. After that, we got pretty tight. She started coming back to the pool and helped me curate movie nights, Cinema Paradiso, La Dolce Vita, and Avengers. That was my pick. Allegra grew up in Lorici. It's this little town on the coast in Italy. She said it's sort of like Adelaide, but the people are much better dressed. Then, when I got thinking, I thought maybe there was something I could do for Allegra. Like, she might have something on her bucket list. Learn to knit or something. Or I could help her write letters to grandkids, but she couldn't think of anything. And then one day, Eduardo, I know, she says. Delfini. I want to swim with the dolphins. Back when she was a girl in Lorici, there was a boy she liked, Lorenzo, and he asked her to come out on his boat to swim with the dolphins at sunset, but she'd been too afraid, and then he died later in the war. I said, Allegra, this is my dying wish. She knew how to lay it on thick. I found a place that did dolphin cruises. There's nowhere you can swim with them in Adelaide, but she could always fall in. I'm joking. The hardest part was convincing management. They said, what if something happens? I said, she's palliative. They said, exactly. In the end, she had to sign something, and in the days leading up to it, she got this matching swimsuit and bathing cap. Oh, she looked cute. Like a Cupid doll, but wrinkly. And then, on the afternoon we're supposed to go out, there was a storm and the whole thing got cancelled. Allegra took it pretty hard. I said, don't stress, we'll go next week. But management got cold feet, and after that she took a turn. Stopped coming to bingo, even movie nights, which she loved. They had to feed her soup in her room, and she looked so frail. Just like Mum at the end, when all the light was nearly gone. So, a few nights later, I wait until the end of my shift, get a wheelchair, wake her up. She says, Eduardo, what are you doing? I said, no one puts baby in the corner. Dirty Dancing? She hadn't seen it either. When we get there, down to the pool, Brittany, she's another lifeguard, lets us in, and Maddie was already waiting, my mate from uni with the gear. So I introduce everyone, then Britt helps Allegra get changed, and when she comes out, she looked so thin, and I thought, this is a mistake. But then she struck this pose. Hand on hip, like a movie star. Invincible. Then me and Britt helped her into the water, and Maddie showed her how the goggles worked. They looked like a regular diving mask, except instead of clear glass, there's a screen. Then we got her to float on her belly, and Britt and me are on either side holding her. And then Maddie starts up the VR, and I hear her. Delfini. And for the next half an hour, a part of her is immersed in the pool, and another part is immersed in the ocean, swimming with Delfini. We got her home that night, smuggled her into her room like E.T. in reverse, and for days she's just glowing. Right up until she died last week. My main memory, this was on the way back from the pool, and she's still got the imprint of the mask on her forehead, which took a bit of explaining. And we go through the drive-through at Macca's, and all of us are singing.